tearing like up inside of you, and it felt like something was pushing my tailbone out. And so my doula was there. She helped you know, bring cold washcloths and bring me water and food. But by the time she came and we were in the tub, I was already in transition, and you don't really feel like eating. When you're reading the books, it's pretty, they're pretty accurate about how you feel, because you go through transition, you start to feel nauseous, you start to shake, and yeah, the contractions are just, you have no break, and if I just wanted to switch positions, you know, any movement that I make would bring on another contraction. And it was kind of good that they were coming close together, because then you know that you're nearing the end. But anyways, the pool was still too hot, and they kept checking the baby's heart rate, I think every 15 minutes, every half an hour, and the heart rate was getting too high, and my heart rate was high as well. So they told me to get out of the pool and to take a cold shower. So I got into the shower, and they told me to make the water as cold as I could stand it, and just to spray the water on my belly. And so while I was in the shower, I think it was because water slows down labor, and once I got out, and because I was standing, I started to feel the urge to push. And it's a very strange sensation, because it almost feels like this spasming sensation, and you almost don't really have to push. It's like your body is just pushing on its own. I tried to hold it in, and it's just really hard. You just can't. So my midwife checked the baby's heart rate again, and it went back to normal. And by that time, they had the pool regulated. So I got to go back in there. And so I was back in the pool, and by that time it was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I could tell that my body was getting ready to push the baby out, because the contractions started to get farther apart, and I got more rest. Like, it seemed like they were getting to about, you know, 8 minutes apart or something. So it was really nice to rest, and the contractions started to be less intense, and they started becoming, before it was like some of the painful contractions, and some of them were the pushing contractions, and it started to get become all pushing contractions. And they don't hurt, actually. Like, mine didn't hurt. It actually kind of felt good, and the more you pushed with the contractions, it started to feel better. Actually kind of felt good to me. So my midwife was asking me if I was feeling a lot of rectal pressure or anything, and I said no. So she kind of acted like it wasn't normal for me not to feel any rectal pressure. So I was in the pool, I was in a squatting position, and my husband was behind me, because I wanted him to get ready to catch the baby, because I felt like it's going to come soon, because usually when you do a natural birth, it seems like the baby comes out really fast. And the contractions are pretty powerful. You could really feel it, and you could feel when you push, like you're really using all your strength. And I was pushing, and 20 minutes would pass, you know, 45 minutes would pass, and I was wondering why I wasn't feeling any pain, and why the baby wasn't here yet. So I reached down to kind of feel for the head, and it was still inside. It wasn't crowning yet, but I could feel a bit of the, you know, the part that gets the cone head part, the swelling. I could feel that, like about maybe the first knuckle here. So I could feel it there. No, maybe second knuckle, about there. So I could feel it there, and I kept trying to push, and it was nice because when you're at home, no one's telling you that you have to push. Your body just tells you to do it, and the midwives and doula, they're just telling you that you're doing a good job. No one's yelling at you to push. So I was pushing, and it was like an hour that had passed, and the baby's position hadn't changed at all. And when they checked the baby's heart rate, he was doing good for the whole time, but I guess it started to fluctuate. So they told me to get out of the pool, and we had blown up an air mattress in the living room. So I went on there, and they wanted me to push there and the midwife. So I had to be on my back so the midwife can see what's going on. And because she hadn't performed an internal exam since the first one. So she checked, and you know, I was pushing, and she said that she could see the baby's head come out, like almost crown, and then it would just slip back in. And I didn't feel the ring of fire. I didn't feel any pain at all, and I was, you know, expecting to feel that ring of fire. And she said that she could tell that the baby's head was turned, because normally, oh, and the baby was posterior, which means that he was looking up, and normally they're supposed to be looking down. And so he had his head turned, so it's normally their head is straight, but his head was like tilted this way, and he also had his chin extended. So so normally, you know, the crown of the head comes out, which is pretty narrow. You only need like 9 centimeters to come out, but he had this part trying to come out, which is almost his forehead trying to come out first, and that's a lot wider, a wider area to try to come out of the same opening. So my midwife told me to, when I pushed, to just try to push as hard as I could. So I was pushing, and I felt like my head was going to explode, and nothing was happening. It was just staying the same. I pushed for almost 2 hours. So my midwife, both of them talked, and they decided that I needed to get transported. And they told me that I was probably not going to be able to deliver this baby on my own, because it looked like he was wedged in my pelvis. So I was pretty upset, but there's nothing I could really do, because I tried on my own. So my husband had to frantically pack a hospital bag for me, and it's funny because only a week before I emptied it, because I thought, I don't need a hospital bag, I'm not going to go there anyways. So yeah, he had to pack it frantically, and I had to try to get dressed, and they called an ambulance so I can get transported, just in case the baby was born on the way there, and they want to make sure they had all the equipment and resuscitation equipment there. It was a non-emergency, so when they came, they didn't rush over. They didn't have lights and sirens, and so they had to put me on the bed. And when we went there, they didn't speed. They just drove regular speed there, no lights either. And it was pretty uncomfortable because the whole time I was still pushing. You know, you still have those contractions. And just the one midwife came with me in the ambulance too. My husband couldn't come in because they needed a midwife there in case I delivered, right? And yeah, so we headed to the hospital.